Good morning to all our delegates and friends in Kenya, and good noon to everyone in India. This is Dharmendra Joshi, your host for the day, and I welcome you to this IMDI webinar series concurrently organized with the virtual trade show titled Medical and Healthcare Africa 2020, focusing on medical healthcare and anti-epidemic products. With close to around 1 billion people and a GDP of approximately $1.7 trillion, Africa presents a sizable investment opportunity for India also and for the rest of the world. Today, around 26 of Africa's 54 countries have achieved middle-class income status. 5 of the 12 fastest growing economies in the world are in Africa. Looking to this opportunity and the long history of Indo-African trade and business relationships, the organizers have planned this virtual trade show and the webinar series for 3 days. The virtual trade expo and the webinars are supported by the Ministry of Health of the Republic of Kenya, the Association of Indian Medical Device Industry, in short AMED, the Medical Association of Tanzania, the Engineering Export Promotion Council of India, EEPC India, Medical Association of Kenya, Critical Care Society of Kenya, National Health Agency, Government of India, Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and the Association of Kenya Medical Laboratory Scientific Officers. Before I move on to today's program, let me briefly introduce to you the organizers. This webinar is organized by Classic Computer Services, a company providing information resources for medical technology and markets through publications, internet portals, exhibitions, conferences, and market research since the last 25 years. The organization designs and develops conference programs aimed at specifically targeted audiences in order to provide strategic and timely information. They have been publishing a techno-economic news magazine titled Medical Plastics Data Service for Medical Plastics, Diagnostics, and the Pharmaceutical Industry, being published since the 1994. The company also promotes 2 internet portals, www.medicalplasticsindia.com and the www.medisourceasia.com. The organizers of our virtual trade show, Radical Communications, have established themselves as one of the renowned international exhibition and conference organizations in India and Kenya by organizing various exhibitions in varied business sectors in the domestic as well as the international circuit. Radical Communications, with their experience of more than 10 years in the exhibition industry, have partnered and represented India at various global exhibitions that have taken place in different parts of the world. Today is the inaugural day of this trade show and the webinar series, and the theme for today's webinar is India, a reliable source of medical device products and technologies for Africa. On behalf of the organization and the delegates, we welcome as the chief guest Ms. Mercy Mwangangi, the Chief Administrative Secretary, Ministry of Health, Kenya, who will be joining us very shortly. Sri Rajiv Nath, Forum Coordinator, the Association of Indian Medical Device Industry, as the keynote speaker. Dr. Eric Ruto, the Vice President of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Dr. Elizabeth Gitau, the President of the Kenya Medical Association. Mr. Mahesh Desai, Chairman of the Engineering Export Promotion Council, India. And Mr. Ravi Srivastava, the Chief Operating Officer of Omni Lens Private Limited, India, as special guests. May I now first invite Mr. Sanyal Desai, the Managing Director, Radical Communications, the organizers of the virtual trade show, to give a welcome address, please. Can I ask the back office people to please unmute Mr. Sanyal Desai? Sanyal bhai.
Thank you so much, Dharmendra bhai. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sanyal Desai, CEO of Radical Communication. We are an exhibition organizing companies. On behalf of Radical Communications, I am very much pleased to welcome all of you here today in our first virtual event, Meditech and Healthcare Africa 2020, focusing on medical and healthcare sector of Africa with a specific focus on East Africa region. Before we get started, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to all the Corona warriors across the world for their selfless efforts in the service of humanity. I am privileged to welcome Dr. Mercy, Chief Administrative Secretary, Ministry of Health at Republic of Kenya. With this, I would also like to welcome our other dignitary panel members, Mr. Rajiv Nath, Dr. Eric Ruto, Dr. Elizabeth Gitau, Mr. Ravi Srivastav, our webinar partner, Mr. Pandya, Mr. Dharmendra, and special mention for Mr. Mahesh Desai, Chairman, EPC. In today's opening ceremony, I would like to thank and welcome each and individual dignitaries on and off the panel, friends from the media, exhibitors, visitors, and associations who have chosen to be part of Meditech and Healthcare Africa 2020, a virtual trade show. Due to a subsequent health and economic downturn caused by the pandemic globally, it has marked the beginning of a new normal. I hope this virtual event acts as a stepping stone for us to navigate through the challenging time. During next 5 days, various planned activities and webinars will be held in this virtual event, where we will be engaging business leaders and torch bearers of health sectors, along with the ministers and officials representing the government on different countries to speak on healthcare sector's trends, opportunities, and challenges brought by this pandemic. We are happy to share that totally we have about 60 plus exhibitors from India, China, Malaysia, Dubai, and Kenya who will be showcasing different products on and services on medical and healthcare sector. I wish this platform to all the best everyone, and thank you so much for everyone's support, and we look forward to have a successful event in this coming 5 days. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sanyal. I am sure with the newly developed virtual exhibition software that you have done, you will be able to provide a lot of services to a lot of various sectors, not only in India and Kenya, but to other parts of the world also. We wish you all the best with this virtual exhibition. This has been a great initiative, particularly in the aftermath of this pandemic, and your contribution shall go a long way in helping businesses normalize during the lockdown period. I now request Mr. D.L. Pandya, the webinar convener and Managing Director, Medical Plastic Data Service, the other organizers, to address the webinar, please. Mr. Pandya.
Good morning, the learned speakers for today's webinar and delegate friends from Africa as well as India, both from the medical devices industry as well as healthcare industry. For the 3-day seminar series, we feel privileged to be associated with the Radical Communications, supported by the leading healthcare and industry sector associations from Kenya and Tanzania. So first of all, on behalf of IMDI conferences, I welcome all the dignitaries and also the supporting association for this both virtual exhibition as well as the webinar series. Under the IMDI conferences and now being the webinars being organized since 2001 with the sole objective of promoting Make in India mission with support and cooperation of leading industry association in medical devices, plastics, pharma as well as healthcare sectors, as well as government, regulatory, research and academic organizations. Our special appreciation and gratitude is for the kind support of the various Kenya-based and the Tanzania-based associations, Ministry of Health, Chamber of Commerce, and other associations for giving the cooperation and support for this event. The objective of this series of webinars, as well as the virtual exhibition, is to create a platform for cooperation between medical device industry as well as as well as healthcare service organizations from India and various countries in Africa for growth on both sides of the countries. The objective is also to help companies from India and Africa to face challenges post-pandemic and the new normal in the new normal situations in the coming future. And we have this 2-3 day webinar series focus on 3 different important aspects of the medical device sector. The first one will be to highlight and the India as a reliable source of medical device products and technologies for Africa, and how we can collaborate with various institutions and organizations in Africa. The second webinar is focused on safety and risk management for healthcare professionals. And the third and the last webinar will be focusing on technologies, quality requirements, and business opportunities for medical textiles, personal protective equipment, face masks, etc. I am sure the delegates will certainly benefit from the participation. Thank you very much once again for your participation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pandya. I am sure your efforts in organizing this webinar series will bring fruits in terms of better business between entrepreneurs in Africa and India. Friends, since we are organizing this seminar on a virtual platform, but we want to continue the Indian traditions of seeking the blessings of God whenever we start some good activity, we shall inaugurate the webinar by a virtual lighting of lamps. And so I request my back office team to kindly arrange for the virtual lighting of lamps. Thank you. This was in fact a very new thing, and it is good that we could have the blessings of God. Let us all pray to the Almighty to lead us to light at the end of this pandemic tunnel. Friends, it's a great privilege for us to have Ms. Mercy Mwangangi, the Chief Administrative Officer, Ministry of Health, Kenya, in this webinar. She is a medical doctor with a Bachelor's of Medicine and a Bachelor's of Surgery from the Nairobi University, and later she earned a master's degree in health economics and policy from the University of Adelaide, Australia. She has served her country as medical doctor and later within the Ministry of Health, Kenya, in various positions before being appointed as the Chief Administrative Secretary in the Ministry of Health in the Republic of Kenya. May I request Ms. Mercy Mwangangi, the Chief Administrative Officer, Ministry of Health, Kenya, to give her inaugural address, please. Back office, please unmute her. Ms. Mercy, please. I can see her there. Is she there? If she is not there, can we take her later, Sanyal bhai?
Yeah, perfectly. Okay, Sarvendra bhai, no problem.
I think we'll go ahead with the program.
Yeah,
and
sure.
then as soon as she joins, I can see her on the list, but I believe it's just a logged in, but she is not there.
Maybe some technical error. We continue with the program.
Yeah, we continue further. Okay. So we are pleased to have with us our keynote speaker, Mr. Rajiv Nath, the forum chairman for the Association of Indian Medical Device Industry India, and the managing director, Hindustan Syringes and Medical Devices Limited. He and his company are known for creating a niche for their disposable syringe called Dispovan, which is today the most popular brand in syringe market in India. A purpose-oriented person, Mr. Nath has been instrumental in influencing a large number of medical device industry professionals and manufacturers to form the umbrella organization that he is the founder and chairman for. He also leads a number of other business and professional organizations and sits on many technical committees and advisory groups of the central government of India. He has traveled widely across the globe and has attended various meetings of the WHO, the ICASA, the SIGN, the ISO, and the Stop TB initiatives. May I request Mr. Rajiv Nath to give his keynote speech, please. Mr. Nath, back office, can you please unmute Mr. Rajiv Nath?
Thank you very much, Mr. Joshi, for the warm welcome. Mr.
Thank you.
I'll just share my screen. Good morning to all my friends in East Africa, in Kenya. A very warm welcome to Dr. Mercy, Dr. Eric Ruto, Dr. Elizabeth, Mr. Desai from EPC, Mr. Srivastava from Omni, Mr. Desai, Mr. Joshi, and Mr. Pandya for organizing this event, the exhibition and the conference alongside. So I'm very glad with this initiative because I have personally been visiting Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda over the last 2 decades, number of times, and I have many good friends over there based on those relationships developed over the last 2 decades. So medical devices, you all know very well, constitutes of various consumables, disposables, electronics, equipments, implants, and also diagnostics. India imports nearly about close to about $6.5 million worth of medical devices. As IMDI, we represent more than 350 members, but there are more than 1,200 manufacturers in medical devices whose interests we take care of in India and internationally. And we have got more than 200 associate members who are key suppliers or key stakeholders in the medical devices fraternity in India. As Mr. Joshi mentioned, we work very closely with the Government of India and with EPC to take the Indian brands forward internationally. So I would like to introduce you to the key brands in India and the key manufacturers which the Kenyan importers may like to seek out and to reach out to so that they can contact them for their needs. So in disposables, the leading manufacturers are HMD, Hindustan Syringes and Medical Devices. This is my own company. We manufacture medical disposables, and we have been part of the Making Medical Injection Safer initiative in Kenya and in the whole of ICASA, bringing the technology of water-disabled syringes and the single use of syringes to the eastern region, which got the injection safety policies in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, etc. And we have also been assisting the governments in Tanzania and in Uganda to bring forward regulations, the TFDA regulations on medical devices. The complete details and the initiatives were pretty much initial, I would say, authors were from our end. We also have medical electrodes, which makes disposable electrodes. Carnum Latex, which is one of the largest manufacturers for surgical gloves. G Surgiwear is a reputed manufacturer for medical garments and also for shunts, possibly the largest manufacturer for affordable shunts worldwide. MRK is another reputed manufacturer for surgical gloves. In consumables, we've got Romson's, which has got the widest range of plastic medical disposables in the country. And similarly, Polymedicure has also got a very wide range of plastic medical disposables. Healthium is a reputed manufacturer for surgical sutures, and BL Life Sciences is a reputed manufacturer for kits and for cardiac products. Tynon Orthotics in Chandigarh is a reputed manufacturer for assistive and for implants for the orthopedics. In electronics, we got Revitron Healthcare, and in Elingers, they make X-ray machines. BPL similarly makes many kind of medical electronic equipments, including ventilators. And Scanray is now become very popular worldwide because of their huge capacity, which they geared up for ventilators. ITPL is very well known, along with Elingers, also for making the OT, the cardiac, tables and machines. In equipments, we got Medmark, which is the leader in India for making hospital beds. We got Remy, we got Kiora, Shivani, and Phoenix, which is very strong in the case of incubators. Then in the case of implants, for cardiac implants, we've got SMT and Merrill. In the case of intraocular implants, we have the leading suppliers from Apaswamy and Aurolabs. And in the case of orthopedic implants, we have reputed manufacturers like Biorad and Pittsburgh. In diagnostics, which I'm sure because of COVID, many people in Kenya will be interested. The leading manufacturers are Transasia, Trivitron, Merrill, Agape, and Mitra Industries. And in surgical instrumentation, we've got in the electrical instrumentation like Cottery Products, Allen Electronics, and ASCO, HMD for surgical blades, Quality Needles for making the suture needles, and Endomet Technologies for the endoscope and arthroscopic products and instruments. So in the case of exports, India has been doing reasonably well. Our exports are growing at a very decent pace of 10 to 15% year on year. And many manufacturers, in fact, are focusing more on the export market internationally, especially Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So you can see the bulk of the exports are in the electronics and equipments. Nearly out of the $2.15 billion, nearly 43% are electronics and equipments. And then consumables and disposables are the number two after that at 18% and 28%, you can see. And then we've got the implants, we've got the instruments, and we've got the IVD reagents, which are relatively small in the basket of exports. But we expect that this basket is going to rapidly grow now in COVID times. So in India, we've been taking many steps to make the quality of the products robust and to have international reputation and local innovation. So we formed the Kalam Institute of Healthcare Technology at Visakhapatnam. The role of this institute is to provide linkages between the various scientific institutes and the engineering colleges of India, the biomedical colleges of India, and the manufacturers to commercialize various technologies and to help bring out e-auctions so that these technologies and patents can be commercialized so people can gain from the innovative healthcare. They also support in terms of having HTA, the health technology assessments, so that various innovations which designers think can be useful are validated for the usefulness. Then along with the Quality Council of India, we got the Indian certification for medical devices. So manufacturers in India who have that can be an assurance to the buyers in Kenya, Tanzania, and East Africa that they are quality products and can be relied upon for the credibility. In India now, most of the devices are now regulated under the medical device rules under the Drugs Act, and currently about 23 of them are have been regulated till last year. But from this year, all the devices are being regulated on a voluntary basis until next year, and thereafter there will be mandatory licensing. We've also been trying to make sure that along with quality, the product should be affordable and should be sold with ethical marketing. So the government has taken steps that the prices should be capped on stands and knee implants, and maybe this is something that even East Africa can look at as a modus operandi to ensure that patients have access to affordable products. So to specialize in various medical technologies, there are 2 medical device parks which have been established at Visakhapatnam and Hyderabad, and nearly 6 to 8 more are coming up in the next 1 to 2 years in Delhi Noida area, in Karnal area for surgical instruments. Noida will be for electronics, in the Chennai area for instrumentation, in Kerala for the rubber products, and also the state of Karnataka, in Bangalore or in Gujarat and Maharashtra are very keen to also establish medical device parks. Also Himachal Pradesh. Then to make sure that whatever is being exported or sold in the country is going to be supported, we have the Biomedical Skill Development Consortium, which is now being graduated to a Biomedical Skill Development Council. So that was initially mapping the competency of the biomedical technicians and engineers, and now we also help them to develop the technological skills. So I would recommend that the technicians who are there in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, they can reach out to the Indian Biomedical Skill Development Council. If this is an online competency mapping program, there are a number of modules, I think more than 14 modules where you can get yourself tested. And then you can subsequently apply for getting training through the council for developing skills. So in COVID times, the Indians already are doing that. There are no boundaries when it comes to reaching out by online education. So our friends in Africa can also gain from this. This will help you to get more skills and knowledge. So in COVID times, when the whole world has been completely been shutting down because of lockdowns and imports have been disrupted, including India, it has been a headache for most of the countries to access devices or at reasonable prices from pretty much sole suppliers, for example, in China. So now the option for many of the countries is to also look at India as an alternative supply basket. We've done very well in these product lines, which you can see over here at the graphs. So in the case of surgical gloves, we have got more than 27 manufacturers, which provide more than 2.5 billion gloves in a year. In the case of PPE coveralls, we hardly had 20 manufacturers before, and the ones listed with the IMDI are now currently more than 150. In the case of the government, there are nearly 800 manufacturers. Quite a lot of them you'll find in the exhibition alongside, and the country manufacturers currently more than 25 crore PPE coveralls. Ventilators is again something which we have done very well. So you can be assured of quantity and quality over here. From hardly 8 manufacturers making more than 3,000 ventilators per year, now we've got more than 80 manufacturers making more than 400,000 ventilators per year. In fact, last month's capacity went up to as high as 50,000 ventilators in a month. Similarly, for sanitizers, there is a huge capacity and number of manufacturers available. So you can reach out to them for seeking distribution. And then we have, in the case of surgical masks and N95 masks, a host of manufacturers. In IMED alone, we've got more than 70 manufacturers for surgical masks and more than 40 manufacturers for N95 masks, making more than 3 billion surgical masks and more than 800 million N95 masks per year. COVID testing is very important, and I understand that Eastern Africa has been spared of the big devastation. There are some infections, but not so as high as in Europe or in India, for example, or in America. And the death rate is low, so thankful for that, to hear this good news that the immunity in East Africa is keeping you away from high fatality rate. But at the same time, testing, we understand, is low because there is low access to testing. So this is something you can reach out to now many manufacturers in India. There are 16 manufacturers in India to make RNA expression kits and 8 manufacturers for making the RT-PCR kits. And we can supply and manufacture and export more than 150 crores of the PCR kits. For the rapid diagnostic kits, similarly, we got now about 5 manufacturers for the rapid diagnostics, and for the VTM tubes for doing the sample collection and the swabs, we've got more than 10 manufacturers who can supply you more than 200 crore pieces of VTM tubes. So many of the manufacturers are having the ICMET certification or the C certification. Some of the manufacturers also have US FDA certification. But I would recommend to all the importers, when you are negotiating or dealing with the Indian manufacturers or even Chinese manufacturers or other suppliers, you must make sure that what certificates they are showing to you are authenticated. So unfortunately, the market has been spoiled by many unethical players who are demonstrating or trying to show they have got quality products by showing fake certificates of CE marking or fake ISO 1345 certificates or unauthenticated certificates. So it's important to seek certificates which have got accredited by the International Accreditation Forum or by NABCB or by a national accreditation body which has been recognized by the IAF. And similarly, for the CE marking, you must make sure that the notified body is listed on the NANDO website of Europe. Similarly, for US FDA does not issue any certificates. So if anybody shows you a fancy certificate, be warned and be cautioned about that. Just a simple US FDA 510K number needs to be Googled, and immediately you will be able to find out who the manufacturer is to know that it's an authentic supplier or not. So from our end, now that India is known for a technology and engineering prowess, we are expanding further and we are inviting more investors. So you can be assured in coming years, there'll be more such technology manufacturers from Europe and Japan or Korea who will be locating to India, and then you can use their factories in India to import into Kenya. Also, you can similarly try to replicate what India has done and reach out to Indian manufacturers and seek collaborations and joint ventures to make these products for Eastern African market over there. So one thing which is very important for Kenya to realize is to follow Tanzania and what we've done in India, that to have separate regulations for medical devices separate from pharmaceuticals. So the Korean standards are definitely a good starting point, which you have been focusing upon, but it's time to move on from product standards, which are basically quality control, to go forward to regulatory, patient safety, and preventive healthcare controls. So the right regulations can help you in that, which you can learn from Tanzania and WHO. So best is to do what is the right way. Thank you very much. And we look forward to working with our friends in East Africa for delivering products to address your patient safety issues and your access to affordable quality. For reaching out to any Indian manufacturer for any kind of product or technology, feel free to email to us and we'll provide the bridge role reaching out to the number of manufacturers for any product line that you want to seek from us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nath. The information through your presentation will give direction to the dreams of entrepreneurs in India and Kenya in establishing better businesses and provide benefit to the community at large. I've seen IMED work for a long time and work very closely with the entrepreneurs of India. And I'm sure anyone needing any help from Kenya in establishing contacts, IMED can be of great help. Thank you very much for being with us here. I would now invite Dr. Eric Ruto, the Vice President, Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to give his address. Dr. Ruto is the chairman of the Real Group of Hospitals and Clinics and has over 15 years of experience in the healthcare sector, and he invests in fostering economic empowerment in the community. Apart from the Kenya National Chamber, he is also very active with other medical sector organizations and various government boards in Kenya. Mr. Ruto, please. Dr. Ruto, can the back office team unmute Dr. Ruto, please?
Okay, thank you very much, Joshi. And thank you very much, the organizers, for this Meditech exhibition. I'm indeed happy and honored today to participate in this virtual exhibition and webinar. And as you rightly introduced, I'm Dr. Ruto K. Eric. I'm the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industries Chamber Vice President. Equally, also I run my business. I'm the chairman of Real Group of Hospitals. Hospitals are spread in the northern side of the country and one facility in the capital city, Nairobi. Today, as the industry leaders in the medical field, and as the chair of the Health Committee of Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industries, we want to present the opportunities that are available in the East African region. But before I proceed on that, definitely as one of our panelists had recognized our frontline workers. As we know, worldwide, we are dealing almost 27 million cases of COVID-19. Kenya, we are around 35,000. And I was checking early in the morning, India has around 4.2 million cases. So therefore, in this era of COVID-19 pandemic, we've seen the world has become much more closer and we have to be much more innovative. I would like to state that Kenya and India, the association has gone a very long way. And I think it started before Kenya got independence. And in the medical field, we have a very strong relationship between India and Kenya. The opportunities that are available for medical manufacturers and service providers in the East African region are huge. Our population in this region is approximately 170 million. We have an economic body called the East African Community, whereby we have common tariffs across the borders, and we enjoy a GDP of approximately 200 billion. Kenya being almost like 45% of the economy of East African countries. 2 years ago, Kenya, we signed a special status agreement with Ethiopia with another population of 100 million. So therefore combined in the East African region, the Indian products can be able to access a market of approximately 270 million people. And as Kenya, we have a very nice distribution channel, and we are ready to partner with Indian companies. The role of Kenya National Chamber of Commerce is definitely to lobby for businesses between within the country and between countries. And therefore, we are happy to provide any networking opportunities that you require as the manufacturers and the exhibitors who are here. More so in terms of developing markets for the products, doing joint ventures, as mentioned, and we definitely shall be very much interested to see how we can be able to do joint ventures for developing local capacity, especially in terms of manufacturing. Coming closer to now the economy of the medical products and in the medical field, The opportunity which is in terms of pharmaceutical products, we do a turnover of approximately 300 billion or $3 billion for pharmaceutical and pharma. And for non-pharmaceutical and surgicals is almost the same at $3 billion per year in the East African community region. Therefore, these are the opportunities for manufacturers who can be able to come set up distribution channels, definitely in partnership with the local partners who have established businesses in this area. And as Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, we definitely are willing to participate in this area. In the private healthcare services, we enjoy, especially in Kenya, an economy of approximately 1.2 billion in terms of turnover in the private healthcare services. Therefore, we have a protocol in the East African region, and which started in 2017, which should run for 10 years until 2027, to see how we can increase local content and local manufacturing of pharma and medicines in the East African region. And this program, and I think one of our panelists has said, there is an establishment of a common accreditation body within the region. And therefore, I urge investors who are in this panel and the manufacturers and their representatives to be able to look at this document and see some of the incentives that have been put by the East African Economic Region. In addition to this, definitely, we are inputting approximately 7% of the pharma and another 80% of non-pharma from various parts of the world. I'm happy to report, which is I think is a good statement, being organized by the Indian, that we approximately import 60% of our pharmaceuticals from India. And therefore, I would urge the investors in this area to see how we can be able to reduce and be able to do joint ventures in terms of starting manufacturing units here in Kenya for purposes of supplying the whole of African region. And as I mentioned, Africa, we have signed an African Free Continental Trade Area, which is an access of 54 countries and a population of 1.2 billion. And Kenya stands at one of the best places for Indian companies which are established to be able to come and establish their units in this region. I will be happy to do business development as a Kenya National Chamber and as practitioners in the medical field to see how we can be able to establish those companies so that they can take advantages of the African Free Continental Trade Area, which was supposed to come into effect on the 1st of July this year, but because of COVID-19, it has been postponed to early next year. And I would like to say that the early bird catches the worm. These are the opportunities that we would like to partner. In addition to that, the local companies who are doing manufacturing are getting their active pharmaceutical ingredients outside from this region. And I want to report that we don't have, especially on the active pharmaceutical ingredients, we don't have companies which are manufacturing locally. So that's another big opportunity for a company that can be able to establish itself locally here. And of course, in the whole of value chain, from distribution, establishing of markets within the region, we'd definitely be happy to partner with that. And I would like to affirm my immediate presenter who talked about they are looking at 200 joint ventures in the whole world between the Indian companies. So I will invite them so that we can be able to communicate. In the other field that I would like us, Kenya and India to partner is in the field of the service industry. We know there has been quite a number of medical tourism from Kenya to India. We would like to partner in terms of establishing diagnostic facilities locally, establishing affordable services locally in the East African region. And this is another opportunity we'd like to invite partners so that we can do joint ventures. And equally, of course, and I'm happy that you are offering training for biomedical engineers. I would like to report that quite a number of Kenyan doctors recently have had a super specialized training in India. And we'd like to appreciate that and would like to see how we can increase this kind of capacity building in this medical field, both in the service industry and in the biomedical engineering in terms of making sure that we are able to maintain our quality equipment. What I would like to report that in the East African region, we are now almost on a third phase in terms of development of health facilities. And there has been a huge rapid development in the last 10 years in terms of healthcare facilities, building hospitals for international standards. So for any company that has a lot of experience in terms of design, planning, finance, and construction, and a consultancy on operation of hospitals, this is a huge opportunity that we invite Indian specialists because definitely India has been able to achieve this aspect and be able to offer a high quality, affordable services. This is an area whereby, as a private sector in Kenya, we want to see how we can be able to bring services to affordable costs and accessible to the citizens of this region. And we are learning from India in terms of affordability of medical services. So this is an area whereby we invite consultants so that we can be able to do joint ventures, we can be able to do joint proposals to see how we can be able to partner in this area. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And if you want to get us as Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, you can go to our website, which I will be able to post. It is www.kenyachamber.or.ke. Thank you very much, our moderator, Joshi Dharmendra. Thank you.
Mr. Joshi, can you unmute yourself?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ruto. Your words of wisdom shall provide the much needed motivation for the entrepreneurs of both the countries to build sustainable businesses between the countries, and we look forward to working a lot closer with people in Kenya in the field of medical and healthcare sectors. I now request Dr. Elizabeth Gitau to address the webinar. Dr. Gitau is the Chief Executive Officer of the Kenya Medical Association. She has served as a lecturer in the leading medical college in Kenya, the Kenya Medical Training College. She has an MBA in healthcare management and has served previously in various capacities within the Kenya Medical Association. She has also been involved in championing the corporate wellness in Kenya. Dr. Elizabeth Gitau, please. Back office, can you please unmute Dr. Gitau? I understand Dr. Mercy has just entered, and we welcome you. I will just come back to you immediately after Dr. Gitau finishes her speech.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yeah.
I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Thank you very much for this invitation. It is an honor to participate in this virtual exhibition, and it is also great to see the collaboration between India and Kenya, which has been ongoing for a long time. And the Kenya Medical Association, which I represent, has had a lot of engagement with the India medical sector, with various partners in the hospital, in the pharma industry, and we have hosted a lot of exhibitions here in Kenya with collaboration with our Indian partners. I would like to introduce my medical association once again. Kenya Medical Association is a national association of medical doctors, representing over 9,000 medical doctors in Kenya, who work both in private sector and in public sector. So in terms of our representation, it runs fully across the medical sector. I was asked today to speak about growth and potential of healthcare services in Africa with a key focus in Kenya. As has been mentioned before during this exhibition, is that in terms of the population of Africa and the population of Kenya, it's a growing population with a lot of youth and a lot of potential in terms of
economic growth, and with economic growth, healthcare services in Kenya have been improving. We have been seeing a lot of improvement in terms of investment in the health sector. For a long time, we've had a lot of collaboration, especially the medical industry in India, with sending patients to India. But as things go, or as things improve in Africa, as the economic growth improves, slightly probably reduced by COVID-19, but we were on a trajectory to actually have a lot of medical hubs here in Kenya, serving even the whole of the East Africa community. And we've had some of our specialists being trained in India, and once they come back, they're able actually to serve the patient and improve the healthcare sector. And this brings demand in terms of medical devices. With improved technology and with improved medical care and improved quality of care, it actually now demands a lot of improvement in terms of the quality of the medical devices that we have in Kenya, improvement in terms of manufacturing for the pharmaceutical industry. So I do believe that with the kind of collaboration we've had in terms of, one is in terms of investment, two is in terms of mentorship, because India is a big medical market. And as such, I do believe that with the kind of
mentorship that you will get from your community and the kind of collaboration and business partnering, that we are able to grow the African medical market to a world-class medical market. And there's huge potential. One thing I would want to mention is that in the Kenyan industry is that 40%, close to 50% of the healthcare service provision is actually done by the private sector. This is a very big percentage of Kenyans who are actually buying capacity or ability to pay for medical care is actually improving. And we also, another thing is that the only challenge that in Africa that we have faced mostly is about insurance of patients. Our patients, like in Kenya, we have about only 20% of Kenyans under medical insurance, which actually brings down potential to access medical care. But this has been addressed by the government, and there's a lot of effort that is being brought in to ensure that there's the health financing aspect is actually sorted out. We have a sort of medical insurance, and with medical insurance, it will increase the ability of access to medical care. And with increased access, for sure, we will see improvement in terms of the number of facilities. We'll see a lot of improvement in terms of quality of care that we actually get here as a country. So I do believe that even during this exhibition, the participants that you will get looking through your products, it will be a relationship that will form into the future. That even as Kenya grows to get better quality healthcare, that we shall be getting more and more business partnering with the Indian community. The other thing I would possibly want to address is in terms of quality of care. For a long time, the major focus in Africa was about access. And not a lot of effort was put in terms of quality health provision or in terms of quality assessment. But we have seen a lot of improvement in terms of quality assessment in terms of hospitals being JCI accredited. We have Safe Care here, and we also have the Ministry of Health, which has come up with the Kenya Quality Management of Health (KQMH), which is actually supposed to help facilities improve quality of care. And part of improvement of quality of care is in terms of provision of technology that is able to sort out the patient. And this comes with a lot of collaborations with other global partners to be able to achieve this. So Kenya is on a trajectory in terms of the opportunities, in terms of improvement of care and improvement of access. To not belabor the point, possibly the other thing I would also want to bring about is in terms the effect of COVID. The effect of COVID on a global scale and also in terms of Africa. COVID has given us an opportunity to actually look through what we suffer from internally.
Before COVID, it was very easy to actually transfer patients to other countries whose medical tourism industry was actually bigger. It was possible to refer patients outside. But with COVID-19, the challenge comes in an opportunity for Africa to build back better, an opportunity for Kenya to build back better. And with building back, it means that the healthcare system needs to have enough capacity to take care of our patients internally. So in terms of even investment, in terms of the collaborations now need to become in a way that we improve the investments internally so that we are able to take care of our patients, because as it is right now, it is almost impossible to get a patient outside the country. So of course, in a crisis, we take opportunities to take advantage of the crisis and make sure that in future that we shall be able to take care of our patients in a better way. So from Kenya Medical Association, ensure quality health for our patients, and it is such we appreciate the relationship association. We appreciate the collaboration we've had with the Indian hospitals, the India technology firms, and we look forward to a one-on-one exhibition once COVID ends. Thank you so much for the invitation, and I'll be here listening in case there are any questions. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gitau, for your talk. We will seek your support in the coming times to establish more collaborations between Indian and Kenyan businessmen in the field of medical health care. Friends, it is a privilege for us that Dr. Mercy Mugangi has joined us. And, you know, as I was informing earlier, she is the Chief Administrative Officer, Ministry of Health, Kenya. She's a medical doctor with a bachelor's in medicine and a bachelor of surgery from the Nairobi University, and later she earned a master's degree in health economics and policy from the University of Adelaide, Australia. She has served her country as medical doctor and later within the Ministry of Health, Kenya, in various positions before being appointed as the Chief Administrative Secretary in the Ministry of Health. May I request Ms. Mercy Mugangi, the Chief Administrative Officer, Ministry of Health, Kenya, to give us her inaugural address, please. Back office, please unmute Dr. Mercy, please.
Dr. Mercy, may I request? May I request Dr. Mercy to give her inaugural speech, please?
Is that Martin?
Can we go to next speaker?
I think he's confirming.
Dr. Mbuva is speaking on his behalf. Call Dr. Mbuva to speak on her behalf because she's already on another meeting.
Okay.
Just call. Dr. Mbuva is logged in. He can hear you. Hello?
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 Sanil, I think he's asking someone else to speak on her behalf.
Hello?
Yeah, Mr. Mercy is joining, my friend. My friend, Dr. Mercy is joining. Can we go to the next speaker, please, Mr. Joshi?
Yeah, I will. Sure. So let us wait for her. Once her message comes, we'll speak. So we also have with us Mahesh Desai. Can you please unmute,
I wanted to tell them,
mute
but I
this
realized that I
voice,
cannot
please?
hear them
Back
speak.
office?
Yeah. Just tell them to call Dr. Mbuva. I gave them the window, and they took too long.
Sir, can you mute
Different
Dr. Murthy,
different
please?
launch, different way.
Okay. So we have with us Mr. Mahesh Desai, the chairman of Engineering Export Promotion Council India, a man following the Gandhian principles of simple living and high thinking in life. Mr. Desai is a first generation entrepreneur with a basic science and engineering degree. He founded the Mira Group in 1967, and in the last 45 years, he has exported Mira pumps to more than 50 countries. He is associated with a number of trade and export promotion organizations at the national and international level, has provided great services in standardization of hand pumps, even operated by the solar power, especially focusing on rural and tribal areas. He has worked on the research and development projects in Sweden, Switzerland, and worked in projects under UNDP, UNICEF, World Bank, Asian Development, African Development Bank, European funds, Japanese funds, Scandinavian countries funds. He is a recipient of 24 national and international awards, the notable few being the first Entrepreneur Udyog Patra Award from the hands of the Vice President of India and the Best Marketing National Award from the Finance Minister of India. At present, he is very active in the field of skill development and technology upgradation in the MSME sector, with special focus on value addition for the products in the international market. It is our privilege that we have Mr. Desai with us, and I request him to make his presentation, please. Back office, may I request you to please unmute Mr. Desai and request Mr. Desai to go ahead with his presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Joshi. Dr. Mercy Mwangi, Deputy Minister, Ministry of Health, Kenya. Dr. Elizabeth Gitau, CEO, Kenya Medical Association. Dr. Eric Ruto, Vice President, Kenyan National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Mr. Rajiv Nath, Forum Coordinator, AIMED. Mr. Pandya, Mr. Joshi, Mr. Ravi Srivastav, Mr. Sanyal Desai, and participants. At the outset, let me congratulate the organizer for selecting and choosing the apt, appropriate, and the right topics for today's world. After COVID or during the COVID, we all have become health conscious, every one of us. So it's the right time to cooperate. I will be talking about the cooperation between India and East Africa. Now, good morning for friends from Kenya and good afternoon for friends in India. And I heartily welcome you all and thank you IMDI 2020 to have invited me to this important platform. India today's topic in cooperation between India and Africa in the field of medical devices, a reliable source of medical devices, products and technologies for Africa. My predecessor, Mr. Nath, has covered the entire length, breadth, with lot of depth about the medical devices field in India and how they can cooperate with private sector as well as public sector in East Africa. India and Africa share a rich heritage of culture, diversity, and contribution to the international trade since the time immemorial. Today, The two land masses borders the most important and fastest growing economic region surrounding the Indian Ocean, and both the regions are among the fastest growing economy of the world. As both the African and Indian economies have been largely emerging from similar trajectories, both share many similar healthcare priorities such as elimination of communicable diseases by making available quality and affordable health facilities to target such diseases. India has a rich experience to share in reducing the incidences of communicable diseases over the last few decades. It focused on setting up remote healthcare delivery infrastructure, investing in research and development of affordable medicines and vaccines, besides the healthcare equipments and medical devices to serve the remote areas of low-income population and settlements scattered all over the interiors of the country. Over the years, India built strong fundamentals supported by strong manufacturing ecosystem, due to which Indian medical devices sector was declared sunrise sector in 2014, along with the launch of Make in India campaign. The sector has been able to completely transform itself in terms of both quality and capability to manufacture range of high-end medical devices at very highly competitive and affordable prices. EPC India, as a nodal body under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India is working towards the promotion of trade and investments in the engineering sector. Also launched a Brand India engineering initiative for medical devices sector. The objective of the initiative was to showcase India's quality manufacturing, technology, and innovations, which meets the global quality standards. EPC India has been at the forefront in bridging Indian medical device sector with major markets across the world. Over the years, it has also created a platform for bridging industry with research and development, with the support and in conjunction with academia, universities, and in identifying technology gaps and encouraging possible interventions with the government fundings. And I would like to here state that all the 42 CSIR, that is Council of Scientific and Industrial Research under Government of India Scientific Research Department, are collaborating in this effort. We work with them, with also IITs and also AIMS and also the councils in India, with the involvement of private sector, not only large sector, but also we involve MSME in this endeavor. The Indian medical devices industry is currently valued at around United States 6 billion is expected to grow approximately 15% in medium term. The overall healthcare industry in India is valued at US dollar 145 billion. This was in 2018, which is expected to reach United States dollar 280 billion by the year 2025. The Indian surgical equipment, medical devices, and pharmaceutical ministry and machinery industry is fragmented with close to 1,800 domestic firms who are predominantly MSMEs. Primarily, they are manufacturing the product range of low to medium technology products. Thereby, they offer themselves as a cost-effective suppliers, and recent years, their focus has also been significantly shifting towards cost-effective, high-end products, including high-tech with R&D and testing in the sector with an eye on international certification and testing. India has made some recent technological achievements in cancer care, cardiovascular, MRI, diagnostics and imaging, dialysis, IoT, integrated in diabetic care, besides setting up of one of the largest 3D printing facility for biomedical implants. India has steadily built capabilities in designing, development, and supply of vast range of electromechanical, diagnostic, therapeutic, and implantable devices, also conforming to international quality requirement and standards. Recently, India also led in development of several low-cost and cutting-edge healthcare solutions. Such innovations can also be useful for healthcare delivery in Africa. Over the years, leading global companies of medical devices have established in India, setting up their manufacturing base by either setting up facilities of their own or by entering joint ventures such as by 3Ms, Becton, Dickinson, Hollister, Philips Medical Services. Incidentally, our Indian industry is also looking forward to have tie-up with their African counterpart so that they can also transfer the knowledge and also help in the medical care sector of Africa. Today, health sector is fast getting introduced with many disruptive technologies like robotics, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, teleradiology, and 3D printing, and many more. It is said that in today's world, technology changes every 2 to 3 years, which used to be in earlier years, 5 to 10 years. So we all have to be ready for a swift change in our own field. These disruptions are making possible the delivery of top-class, affordable medical facilities to people in terms of diagnostic, equipment, imaging, and telemedicine, etc. It is, and India is increasingly leveraging its expertise in IT sector to boost innovation in the health care delivery by doing R&D with our IT industry and IoT. Telecommunication and broadband communication is also making medical expertise reach underserved rural locations far flung in country through telemedicine and teleconsulting programs delivered over mobile phones. Like India, many African nations are also known to be developing their expertise in information technologies and improvising their innovation ecosystem. Thus, India and Africa can look forward for partnerships to offer innovative solutions for implementing healthcare delivery services. These innovations and technologies are big potential segment for widening the scope of increasing low cost and affordable partnerships in near future. Already, today's India has been exporting medical devices and other healthcare products to over 58 countries. Between 2017 and 2019, the exports of medical devices grew over 25%, reaching over 171 million. The top markets includes South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, Kenya, and Ethiopia. These top 5 countries in Africa constitutes over 45% of total exports to that continent. Among the various African regions, the exports are mostly to North Africa, Western Africa, Eastern Africa, and of course, we have to do a lot to improve our presence in Central Africa. Today, healthcare sector is at the front line due to the COVID-19 pandemic. India, like rest of the nations, faces the Herculean task of overcoming the pandemic. India, like African nations, the population is vastly distributed among the lower middle income category across the geography. In such an unprecedented situation, India is managing the spread by revamping the healthcare and medical devices ecosystem. As a result, it made several notable transformations over the past few months alone. The concept of manufacturing personal protection equipment for our pandemic warriors was non-existent 4 months ago in India. PPE production was minuscule in India, which was largely dependent on China for imports. The problem was solved with the help of government support and reforms. India's private industry, research and development centers, all collaborating, all on the same plane and implementing frugal innovation to help the textile industry meet the safety standards set by the WHO guidelines and produce PPE equipment. Thus, a new industry was born. And more important, India today is the world's second largest PPE producer in a span of 5 months. India and Africa today has much to learn from each other and look ahead for making trade partnerships meaningful and strong enough to overcome any challenges of future. It must be a win-win situation for both the parties. I thank the Ministry of Health, Kenya, Association of Indian Medical Devices Industry, AIMED, Medical Association of Tanzania, Critical Care Society of Kenya, and National Health Agency, Government of India are supporting these webinars for organizing this valuable platform. My kudos and once again, congratulations to the organizations. It would indeed help in creating better understanding of two great potential partnership in healthcare and medical devices sector. Thank you once again for giving me this opportunity. Wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Mr. Desai. Your talk exudes all the wisdom that you have gathered from your immense experience of working with various countries. It was very inspirational to hear you. We will be requiring a lot of your help when a lot of our new entrepreneurs get ready to work with different countries from India. And your experience will definitely help them establish their businesses.
You're always welcome to EPC and personally to me also.
Thank you. Thank you. Friends, in place of Dr. Mercy, we have from her office Mr. Mabua, and he is going to address her on behalf of Dr. Mercy. So I request our back office people to please unmute Mr. J. Mabua so that he can give the address on behalf of Dr. Mercy, please. His video is on, but his voice is not coming. I think he needs to unmute. Yes, now he is there. Fine.
Thank you, Master of Ceremony.
Mr. Mabua, can you adjust your screen? We cannot see your face. We can only see you up to your specs.
So what do I do so that you can see me in full?
I think you need to adjust the screen or the camera, if it is possible.
How is that? Is that okay?
If you can,
better than earlier. Yes.
If you can go a little behind also.
Yeah, or you can go a little backwards. No, I don't think so. That will work.
That will work?
Yeah, better than earlier. Quite.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Now this is Mr. Damendra.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Josephat Mbuva. I will be making some remarks on behalf of our Chief Administrative Secretary, Dr. Mercy Mwangangi, who joined in this meeting, but due to some other engagements, she had to follow to attend to other engagements. I am the head of health products and technologies in the ministry, and therefore I am glad and delighted to participate in this meeting to make the remarks on behalf of the CAS. Let me recognize the participation of the chairman of the EEPC India, also the participation of the Vice President of Kenya, of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and the other dignitaries who are locked in this morning for this meeting. Let me say good morning, everybody. On behalf of the Minister of Health, let me say that we are actually very much delighted to participate in this meeting, which is supposed to look at something like the role of medical products in healthcare, or rather the association of medical products and healthcare. And through the remarks which I want to make on behalf of the ministry and on the CAS, I'll prefer actually to use the conventional terminologies of healthy products and technologies as opposed to medical and epidemic products. We all know that healthy products and technologies includes medicines and or drugs, because those terminologies are used interchangeably. They also include non-medicine medical supplies or products, the surgicals, the medical supplies, whether in the area of environmental and the rest. They include dental supplies, radiological supplies, nutritional products, diagnostic supplies, environmental healthy supplies, medical equipment, both minor and major. And that all these healthy products and technologies are crucial for provision of quality health care, including the management and the control of any epidemic or pandemic, like the current one of COVID-19, which we are all battling with globally. In fact, let me say that there are very few aspects of healthcare which do not entail use of health products and technologies. That is, products and technologies are widely used to meet the needs of healthcare. This therefore makes access to healthy products and technologies, and especially for the category of HPTs classified as essential, a basic human right. Here in Kenya, for example, our constitution of 2010, that is the Kenya Constitution of 2010, provides for the right to the highest possible standards of health, including reproductive health, for the Kenyan citizens. And that healthcare, which is envisaged by our constitution, is not attainable without a very good system of providing HPTs. And similarly, in line with our constitution, our health policy framework, which was developed after the constitution, because it is of 2014 to 2030, it was developed in line with the goal of the constitution, or it was developed to address the health issues envisaged in the constitution, And therefore, the goal of the health policy was meant and is attaining the highest possible standard of health in a responsive manner. The health policy identifies investment in the area of HPTs as one of the 8 investment areas for attaining the healthy policy goal. Therefore, the provision of HPTs is by extension also implied in our constitution. On the other hand, we have a universal health coverage program with an agenda which is a big agenda item of the current government, because the current government has 4 big agenda items, and one of those big 4 agenda items is the universal health coverage, and that was developed and adopted by the government as a way of achieving the healthy policy goal. Our UHC program was pronounced in December 2017 by His Excellency the President, with the aim of attaining affordable health care for all Kenyans. And this is that all people resident in Kenya should have access to healthy services that are of good quality and without encountering financial hardship. Let me underscore once again that UHC is not achievable without assured provision of quality and cost-effective HPTs. I think with these 2 or 3 highlights, I would want to underscore further that the importance of HPTs in healthcare, including in epidemics and the pandemics, is actually, it needs no emphasis. However, both here in Kenya and even globally, it is an established fact that HPTs are expensive, and that it is estimated they account for approximately 40% of the inputs for healthcare. And because of the costs associated with HPTs, they are both commercial or economic goods, as well as public health goods. And from the costs associated with HPTs and the need for us actually to access them as a basic human right, we recognize as a ministry that there are several challenges which you require to contend with. And amongst the top challenges are, 1, the budgetary constraints by governments to assure uninterrupted supply through the public health network. And because of the cost and the budgetary constraints to most governments, what is widely experienced is that we have frequent stockouts, and especially in public health facilities. And those stockouts definitely do undermine the quality of health care which is provided to the people. The second aspect is the presence of falsified and substandard products in most markets. And this is as a result of the racketeers for purposes of profiteering. The third challenge is the high prices of HPTs, and more so the new HPTs. And these high prices make HPTs, and more so, to emphasize, the new ones, almost inaccessible to the majority of the consumers. And those high prices tends to undermine government and other entities' efforts towards improvement of healthcare in normal, epidemic, and pandemic situations. And for example, in the area of COVID, which is ravaging us globally today, when COVID started, the most immediate reaction was an upsurge of prices for PPEs, almost to unreachable levels. It's good that with the time, and especially with more investors moving into the production of PPEs, at least the prices have come down, and we hope that they will continue to go down. So when you look at the issue of new technologies, especially in the area of management of non-communicable diseases like cancer, we have technologies and medical products which have proved to be useful, but the prices are just unreachable to the majority of the people who require it. Going forward, there will be needs for all stakeholders, with leadership from governments, to join hands together through the various cooperative mechanisms to address especially these key challenges, and even the others, which there are many, and I will just only highlight the ones which I've highlighted, but there are many others. So there is need actually to have mechanisms to address these challenges, because these challenges, they impact negatively on the access of HPTs in all situations. And some of the interventions which we as a Minister of Health, and also as a government, would want to see in these areas of the HPTs is giving more attention and importance of the public health good for HPTs as opposed to the commercial aspects. This will help lower prices across board, as we all agree to shift away from exploitative profits around HPTs. I think in many setups, the commercial aspect or the commercial good of HPTs tend to override the public health aspect. This is something we require to seriously and keenly consider, because whereas there are commercial goods we should be able to exploit the public health goods more as opposed to the commercial aspect. There is also need in the form of interventions to increase local production capacities across countries for self-sufficiency. And for this one, the Kenyan government, amongst the big four agendas, one of it being the UHC, the other big four agenda is local production, including of HPTs, for purposes of self-sufficiency and job creation. And therefore, the government of Kenya is willing or has put in place mechanisms to encourage local production of the various goods required. And HPTs is one of those priority goods which the government of Kenya would be willing to go to any length and extent to encourage local investors. And therefore, I take this opportunity to encourage the investors from India to really take this opportunity, prevailing opportunity by the government of Kenya to invest in local production of HPTs in Kenya. We really welcome it, and I can assure you the ministry and the government will go to all the extents possible to make sure that we provide the enabling environment for that to be done. The next other intervention, which is very important, is that of combating trade in phosphide and substandard HPTs. We have our HPTs regulatory body, that is the Farmers and Poisons Board. But you all know that the issue of trade in phosphide and substandard goods, this is not an issue which can be combated effectively by only one agency. And therefore, our Farmers and Poisons Board collaborates with other government ministries, departments, and agencies. And it also collaborates with the private sector to try to bring these vices to a bare minimum, if not to eliminate them. And therefore, this is one area where as we are still open to more collaboration as a ministry and as a government. The other intervention is that of commitment by governments to sustainable financing for procurement, supply, and management of HPTs. And this I can assure you, like the Kenyan government through UHC, it has increased the financing towards HPTs, and also even under the prevailing circumstances of COVID, the government is doing its best to mobilize resources to ensure that the levels of access of HPTs to the Kenyan people is of acceptable standards. And again, just tying in with the issues of costs, the issues of sustainable financing, the government cannot afford not to collaborate with other agencies, development partners, the private, to really address the issues of the costs of HPTs. I think, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to make these remarks brief, and wanted to stop there. And once again say that we are very happy to be, as a ministry, to have been invited to participate in this meeting, and also to be given the opportunity to make these remarks. I believe I welcome you, the deliberations in terms of the next steps and the way forward, which will emanate from this meeting. The ministry will be more than willing to engage further so that the action points which are going to be agreed on, we shall participate in taking them to the next action level. I think with that, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mabua. Thank you for a very, very informative talk. Thanks for highlighting the challenges and limitations in the sector of healthcare in your country and the various initiatives taken by the government to ensure better healthcare facilities for the people of Kenya. The information will help us better understand the situation and collaborate with the Kenyan side in a better way. We will seek your cooperation to a lot of future business opportunities between our countries. Thank you very much. We shall now have an expert presentation from Mr. Ravi Srivastava, the CEO and Director of OmniLens Private Limited, one of the pioneer companies from India, having a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility, manufacturing wide range of CE certified intraocular lenses, ophthalmic medical devices, and pharmaceutical products. Mr. Srivastav has done his post-graduation in international business management and has an experience of over 36 years in handling sales and marketing functions in the domestic and international businesses with well-established global Western multinational companies and startup companies of repute from India. Currently, he is managing business in over 100 countries and remains focused on global business development as one of the key responsibilities besides strategic planning, identification of new product or markets, and new product development in regulated markets like USA, Latin America, Europe, Japan, Korea, to name a few. May I request Mr. Ravi Srivastava to give his presentation and request the back office team to please unmute him. Mr. Ravi Srivastava, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Joshi. Thanks for the introduction. Good afternoon to everyone. I thank Mr. Pandya. Let me share the screens. Just a minute.
Having some issue?
No, it looks, it should not be.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. So I thank Mr. Pandya for the organizing this webinar and offering the opportunity for sharing my thoughts why India is a reliable source of medical devices for Africa and probably rest of the world all across. I'm also grateful to the dignitaries from Kenya, colleagues, business partners, and friends for attending the webinar. As the, we all are aware that COVID pandemic has swayed across the globe. A lot of people have lost their lives, but thanks to medical fraternities and all the concerned teams for their relentless work in safeguarding us. And it is our responsibility to follow the guidelines and stay safe. Trust, soon we shall have vaccine early next year probably, which will help us to get back to the normal situation. Medical devices offer great support, and we had been listening from our previous presenters. And topic seems interesting to understand how Indian companies are striving in reducing the expectations and offering products of international standard. So just as a brief introduction about the medical devices, we all know that medical devices represent products supporting people in health assessment and management, wellness, fitness, vision, hearing, dental, cosmetics, and many more. Medical devices benefit patients by helping healthcare providers and help patients in improving their quality of life. Along with the benefits, hazards are imminent, and hence it is very important that device should have proven safety. So regulatory authorities, test labs, raw material supplier play a very important role besides manufacturer in receiving the desired quality products. Based on risk, medical devices are classified as class 1, class 2A, 2B, and 3. So just for the understanding, like wheelchair or maybe mask, these are in the class 1, and coronary stents are classified as class 3. We also know that medical devices range from low risk, could be tongue depressor, to a high risk devices which have embedded software like pacemakers, medical test kits, and various other implants. I would say, courtesy to the pharmaceutical development, surgical intervention, we have increased life expectancy. People live over 70 years or more as an average. And because of their longer life, they wish to remain active all the life, even after retirement. They continue reading, working on computer, driving, playing. So there is surge in demand of medical devices. Very especially it could be in the orthopedics, dental, cochlear implants, or in the cataract, in the visual activity. So if the person is retired and they are not able to take care of their activities as usual, they would like to go for the implant of intraocular lenses, which will bring back their vision to their expected levels. Medical devices and ingenious industry is creating a paradigm shift in healthcare worldwide. And if you see, the astonishing projections are contemplation of innovative devices, wearables, services, epidermal implants, etc., to address lifestyle diseases. And medical device industries aplomb for steady growth of circa $500 billion with the 5% CAGR. By 2025, medical device industry is anticipated to reach circa $600 billion. I recall one of my visit to a company in London several years ago, where I observed that they are manufacturing a small chip, and that chip is epidermally implanted, and the chip keeps sending the signals through mobile app all the day about the glucose levels. So person is able to monitor their glucose levels and they can take precautions themselves. India is key market supporting industry growth are US, Europe, Asia, Middle East, Africa. And recent survey have designated Asia, Africa, and Middle East as a high growth driving continents beside USA and Europe. We all understand that, if any country which is on the growth trajectory, where people work hard, they strive to acquire knowledge, and when they have the better, I would say, the liquid cash, the first objective would be how to ensure they are able to enjoy what they could achieve. And in order to enjoy what they have achieved over a period of time, they would like to ensure they are healthy, they have good health, and they are able to take care of their requirements professionally or personal in a I would say the expected manner. So medical devices in the field of vitro diagnostic, cardiology, diagnostic imaging, orthopedics, and ophthalmology occupy the top 5 positions worldwide sales and market share. This is something which we have seen, that these 5 sectors are the major contribution of the medical device market globally. And besides other industries, ophthalmology has offered plethora of benefits, very especially improving vision post-cataract surgery. You might have observed some of the international organizations, whether it is Rotary or Lions Club, they focus on the development of ophthalmology. I remember my visit to Nairobi a couple of times, where I visited the Lions Hospital, and they are focused on improving the vision of people. And you might have observed that many times it happens in the lower strata of society, where the only person could be the earning member of family. Person could be, say, I would say a tailor who had been able to take care of the responsibility very well, but the suddenly cataract developed, is unable to take care of the family, all monetary aspects, education of children, and well-being. So the moment cataract surgery is done, the vision comes back. And that is how people are able to take care of their responsibility. So this I said for the lower strata of people, but cataract surgery is such which would happen eventually to everyone. Cataract would get developed to everyone. It depends, or it may vary at what age. We at OmniLens manufacture wide range of intraocular lenses and related products, but the most important thing, it's not only focused on high featured products, we also manufacture good quality products for every socio-economic segment all across the globe. Here we are talking about Africa and a continent with opportunities. So with population close to 1 billion, GDP approaching circa 1.7 trillion, Africa presents substantial opportunity. 5 of the 12 fastest growing economies are from Africa, and North African countries, I would say especially the Egypt, Nigeria, South Africa, share 50% of economic activities. Half of the country in Africa have already achieved middle income status. Regional economic forums are created to boost regional integration and economic development. Rapidly growing middle income group is contributing in growth of healthcare expenditure. Government, local players are setting up new hospitals, and health insurance is offering good health and thus inciting growth of medical devices. So with all these situations are very congenial for country to grow and countrymen to have good health. They should focus how to remain healthy and active. With CAGR of over 6%, medical device market in Africa is expected to reach circa USD 7.2 billion. But besides the opportunities, the Africa continent comes with some barriers as well, which we need to understand, and very especially for the manufacturing companies, what would help them to achieve their objective of offering good health to masses. Over 60% population could still be managing their livelihood at $2 per day. Low infrastructure and connectivity is still a limitation in providing good health. devaluating currencies, sometimes unstable political situation, or ever-changing weak management of public healthcare services, underdeveloped healthcare system, price-sensitive medical device market of African continent. So when we look at all these aspects, it certainly gives a clear signal that there is a lot of opportunity for Indian companies to understand, come forward and see what would help them to expand the business in Africa in a win-win situation. So we need to offer good quality products for masses to support early detection of disease, non-invasive therapy, cataract, dental, and general healthcare. And why India could be a reliable source? Because India is 4th largest in medical device market in Asia after Japan, Korea, and China. And having the business over 10 billion US dollar with a compounded growth, we expected to reach at 50 billion by 2025. India has over 800 medical device manufacturers, and Mr. Rajiv Nath presented that through IMED, person can get the access to the right manufacturing companies across the medical devices. Government is facilitating indigenous production to reduce dependency on import through Atmanirbhar Bharat. New regulatory device rules and regulation processes are in progress to ensure product quality and consistency. Lot of emphasis is given on the MSMEs, and they are being encouraged for medical device production to curb reliance on imports and lower the cost. I heard in the presentation of Mr. Nath that not only two of the medical device parks are already active, and there are many of them which are in progress, which are in process, and would be able to provide all the facilities in one premises, including the test facilities. India is poised to offer world-class products at the right price. And why India is a reliable source for medical devices, products, and technology? Besides the strength in the product, besides the focus on products for the masses at the right price, besides following the regulations, the communication is one of the very important supporting factor. A country has everything, but the people are not able to communicate effectively, or we are not able to understand each other's requirement better. Then it could be a big barrier in spite of many facilities. So this is one key feature of India. We have developed and growing infrastructure. One of the most reliable and cost-effective product and services. Stringent regulations ensure desired product quality and consistency. And Make in India drive has boosted local production capabilities. So the government, with the efforts of entrepreneurs, government, team, education system, everything is in line to acquire knowledge, which in order to ensure, first, we understand what is required, and then we are able to produce what is required by our partner companies, and especially in the African continent. During COVID pandemic, within no time, in-house capabilities were accelerated, especially for PPE kits and ventilators. Initially, the product we received or we imported were not meeting the desired quality standard. With the support of government, to the right companies, entrepreneurs, everybody came together. And today is the situation that not only India can meet the domestic requirement, but is able to support the requirement of other countries. And the COVID vaccine is underway. Hopefully by early next year, we shall have the good news. Another benefit of India as compared to other countries, we have relatively low production cost. So along with all the benefits and low production cost, we are ready to offer cost advantages. With all above and many more, India is indeed a reliable source for medical devices, product and services. I also feel that besides, the companies are doing, we are taking care what is best as our understanding, experience, regulator support. But buyers also have the responsibility to identify which company could be the right partner. Price is, I feel, price is important, though should not be the first and decisive factor. Price may not be the best, only looking at the price may not be best for the patient and the healthcare providers. To get the right price, it is important to look for that companies, they have necessary regulatory documents, and if notified body offering C certificate or other approvals, they themselves are also approved by medical council or any other body which is authorized. Manufacturing and quality policies, quality management system, they are well understood and followed. Authenticity of biocompatibility reports of material used. Data on clinical and post-marketing surveillance are genuine and company is practicing on them. Company is committed and follow the timelines. So if buyer also looks at all these plus whatever else they feel would help them to procure the right product would be very important factor. I wish to share when we propose ourselves, and I say that when buyers are requested to look into the practices of company, what we do, we follow quality management system, procure material from the best source in world, do pre-purchase audit as per ISO guidelines of all critical and material supplier, strong quality policies, each and every unit is checked before they are shipped, in-house lab to test sterility and endotoxin, post-sterilization, a strong regulatory team to support product registration, and have collaborated with GLP certified lab for our biocompatibility test requirements. We are presently doing business in over 100 countries across the globe, and objective is to increase our base in many more countries in times to come. But once again, how we can do that? It is always understanding the requirement and working on how we can meet their requirement. Whenever I travel, I try to meet surgeons. I try to see how comfortable they are with our products or competitors' product. Besides ophthalmology, if I get the opportunity, I attend surgeries in other specialties, especially to see how comfortable doctors feel with the products from Indian medical device manufacturers. Thanks a lot for patience hearing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Srivastav. It was great. You shared a lot of information and highlighted the case for India becoming the most reliable supplier of medical devices to Africa. Thank you so much. Your insights will help everyone a lot.
Thank you.
Friends, fortunately, during the time that we all were together, I am happy to announce that we've had 241 live visitors at this moment of time, 105 watching the webinar from the virtual platform that has been specially created, a lot of people visiting the exhibition, and all this is apart from the actual 27 which are right with us on the Zoom platform. So this has been very great. More than 350, around 350 people with us during this webinar. A great success. To end, before we actually leave the meeting, may I request Mr. Pandya, the convener of this webinar, to please propose a vote of thanks. Mr. Pandya, please.
Thank you, Mr. Dharmendra.
Yes, please.
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Dharmendra. It was really indeed a very enlightening discussion today, both from the Indian experts and leaders of the industry, as well as the healthcare sector and the Chamber of Commerce and Industry from Kenya and Africa. We had a very good picture of the potential of the Indian medical device industry to be the most reliable source through Mr. Rajiv Nath to start with how India can help the African healthcare services sector in supporting with a number of medical device products manufactured at most affordable prices from the leading Indian companies. We had Mr. Mahesh Desai, who very rightly explained how through EEPC, the collaboration and the technology transfers can be achieved from India to the African companies. And lastly, not from the from Mr. Ravi Srivastav, giving overview on the Indian industry, but ending up with the buying responsibilities also for the Kenyan companies or African companies should look from India. From the African side, we had a very good overview from Dr. Eric Rutto, and he gave insight on the possibilities of cooperation with the Kenyan companies. Then we had Dr. Elizabeth Jitu, and she talked about the healthcare services and also the possibilities in the healthcare services also. And then lastly, on behalf of Dr. Mercy, we had Mr. Mabua inviting cooperation with the Ministry of Kenya. So excellent presentation from both the sides. Thank you very much, all the dignitaries and speakers of today's webinar. I also thank for the massive participation from the visitors and the delegates for the webinar. And last but not the least, I would like to invite all the delegates to be part of our tomorrow's webinar with a theme on safety and risk management for healthcare professionals. Hope you enjoyed, everybody enjoyed this webinar today. Thank you once again, the dignitaries and the delegates. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pandya. And friends, once again, I take this opportunity to invite everyone to take a virtual tour of the trade show and join us in the 2 other webinars tomorrow and day after, same place, same time. Thank you very much. It was great having every one of you here. Thank you. We end the meeting here. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate the organization.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.